Hello students, welcome to the video class for the subject Power Electronics and PLC. The subject is for 5th semester Electrical and Electronics Diploma Engineering students. So today's topic is your fully controlled converter with RL load. So now we will just studied about the midpoint type converter. Here the converter is the rectifier which convert AC to DC. So here today we will study about fully controlled midpoint type converter or rectifier with RL load. Previously you already know or taught about the R load, the configuration with R load. What are the changes appear with R load, you already know. So today we will discuss with RL load. So here the circuit diagram is this one. This is the circuit diagram. Here this is the supply side. This is your plus point, this is your minus. Okay, so here the supply is Bm sin omega t. Here it is the transformer, single phase transformer, primary side, secondary side. Secondary side is the center tap type. So here this point is A and this is neutral N point, this is B point. So here the point is A and here the point is B. Okay. So here the thyristor T1 act as a incoming thyristor, T2 thyristor act as a outgoing thyristor. Your load is the load is RL load. So we will study about see what happens in the fully controlled midpoint type rectifier. This is the circuit diagram for the midpoint configuration for fully controlled rectifier. Here this waveform represents supply voltage waveform, Bs waveform. Here Bs is here the Bi, that is the Bs, that is Bm sin omega t. So here CA, this is the AB terminal, and in the secondary side this AB terminal is like this: B A B is equal to B A N plus B N B. Okay, so this AB is divided by BAN and BNB. Here if A positive, B negative, that means here A is positive, N negative, then again N positive, then B negative. So here in secondary side we have two waveforms, that is one BAN waveform and another one is BBN waveform. So when A positive with respect to B, that means here this BAN is here and this is the minus BAN. Similarly, when B positive with respect to A, that means at that time BBN positive side is this one and BBN negative side is this one. That means when BAN is positive, at that same time BBN is, this is the BBN is negative. When BBN is positive, at that time BAN is negative. Okay, so this is 0, pi, 2 pi. So when we give A positive and B negative supply, that at that time BAN waveform is forward biased and BBN waveform is reverse biased. So when BAN is positive, that means thyristor T1 is forward biased, and at the same time thyristor T2 is forward reverse biased. So we assume this configuration as a continuous configuration. That means here the output waveform is continuous. So when A terminal is positive with respect to N terminal, N is positive with respect to B. That means VAN is equal to VNB. This is VAN is equal to VNB. Okay, or VAN is equal to minus VBN. So because here N is the midpoint of the secondary winding. Okay, so in this case the output current is continuous. We are assuming that output is continuous wave, output has continuous waveform. So thyristor T1 T2 are forward biased during positive and negative half cycle respectively. That means we suppose that previously T2 is already conducting and now the thyristor T1 is in forward biased. Okay, so when T1 is forward biased, that means at the same time T2 is reverse biased. So at omega t is equal to 0, VAN is positive, and so thyristor T1 is forward biased. When trigger at delay angle alpha, T1 gets turned on. So this is the turn on point. See, omega t is equal to 0. Here VAN, this waveform is positive. This is the positive waveform. And see, from 0 to alpha, we give at this point triggering get pulse to the thyristor T1. That's why from this point your thyristor T1 is conducting, and we assume that before this thyristor T2 is conducting. That's why this is the waveform from T2. So when T1 is forward bias at an angle alpha, it will follow the supply waveform like this. So this is your output waveform like this. Okay, so here the load is inductive load. Okay, here the load is inductive load. See, when omega t after omega t equal to 0, VAN is positive, T1 is forward biased. When trigger at delay angle alpha, T1 gets turned on. So at omega t equal to alpha, supply voltage 2 pm sin alpha reverse biases T2. That means omega t is equal to alpha. At omega t is equal to alpha, T1 is forward biased and triggered. So T1 is conducting. At the same time, T2 is reverse biased with the voltage 2 bm sin alpha. How it is 2 bm sin alpha, we will get it to the later part. So here the SCR is T2 is turned off with the supply voltage 2 bm sin alpha. So in this case T1 is called incoming thyristor and T2 is called outgoing thyristor. See, this is the equations. See, VAN is equal to Vm sin omega t is equal to VNB, and BN is equal to reverse negative of this part, so minus VNB. So here VNB is Vm sin omega t, so it is minus Vm sin omega t. So all total VAB is equal to VAN plus VNB, that is equal to 2 Vm sin omega t. Clear? So when alpha at omega t is equal to alpha, T1 is triggered, SCR T2 is subjected to reverse voltage by 2 bm sin alpha. So how it is 2 bm sin alpha will derive now. Current is transferred from T2 to T1, as a result T2 is off. The magnitude of reverse voltage across T2 at the instant T1 is triggered is, if I apply KVL at this point. See, when we apply KBL in the whole circuit diagram, see, the whole circuit diagram is like this. You already the whole circuit. Wait. this is our complete circuit path. This is our complete circuit. So in this circuit we will apply KVL equation. So here the KVL, if I apply KVL equation starting from this, this is your plus and this is your minus. In this case also this is plus and this is minus. So if I apply KVL here, this is minus B T1. Then next is what? This point, that is plus V T2. See, I'll just show you the whole equation here. See, in this path we will apply KVL equation. This equation becomes minus Vt1, then plus Vt2, then plus Vnb, then plus Van. This is equals to 0. So this whole equation is written here. See, minus Vt1 plus Vt2 plus Vnb plus Van equal to 0. So when T1 is conducting, that means Vt1 is equal to 0. So if Vt1 is equal to 0, then we have Vt2 plus Vnb plus Van equal to 0. So Vt2 is equal to how much? This part is in the right side. So this is the V minus Vnb minus Van. So minus Vnb is represented as here. Minus Vnb is represented by Vbn. So I have written here Vbn. Vbn minus Vn plus Vt1. So Vbn is equal to, this is your minus Vm sin alpha. This is written here, and minus Van. Van is the Vm sin alpha. So minus Vm sin alpha, that is equal to minus 2 Vm sin alpha. So this is how we get 2 Vm sin alpha at T2 when T1 is conducting and T2 is reverse biased. So this shows that the T2 is reverse biased by voltage 2 Vm sin alpha, and therefore turn off at omega t equal to alpha. See, when T1 is conducting, that means this is the output waveform. Due to inductive load, the energy stored in the inductive load, due to the energy stored in the inductive load, the output voltage is extended to an angle alpha. So this is conducted up to pi plus alpha. So again at pi plus alpha, so once pi angle is crossed, thyristor T1 is reverse bias and T2 is forward bias. And again at pi plus alpha, T2 triggered or T2 get pulse. So at from this point, T2 is conducting and T1 is off. So here voltage is extending like this because due to the inductive load property, current is like this. Initially rising, gradually rises, and then after pi angle it is decaying. Then again when T2 conducting, again it is gradually rising, and then when at point T at angle 2 pi it is decaying. So it is a continuous output current waveform. So this is your, due to the inductive load, this is your current waveform, this is your voltage waveform. So current waveform is like this due to the inductive load. I already told you in the previous sessions. Okay, and this is the Vt1 and Vt2 voltage waveform. So when Vt1 is conducting, at that time voltage across the thyristor T1 is 0, that is from alpha to pi plus alpha, and the rest of the part is the blocking voltage from this part to this part, from 0 to alpha and from pi plus alpha to 2 pi. And similarly when thyristor T2 is conducting, then voltage across that time, voltage across thyristor 2 at that time is 0, that is from 0 to alpha and pi plus alpha to 2 pi, and the rest part is followed by or the largest part is the blocking voltage, which is represented by like this. Here the peak level is minus 2 bm because the thyristor T2 is reverse biased or turn off by an voltage 2 bm sin alpha. So what you see, thyristor T1 is turned off. Thyristor T1 is conducting from alpha to pi. So at that time T2 is turned off from alpha to pi. So when T1 is turned off and T2 is conducting from pi plus alpha to 2 pi. So if we find out circuit turn off time for both the thyristor T2 and T1, we get like this. For circuit turn off time for T2 is pi minus alpha by omega. Circuit turn off time for T1 is 2 pi minus pi plus alpha by omega, that is pi minus alpha by omega second. So for both the thyristor, circuit turn off time is pi minus alpha by omega. And for this fully controlled rectifier midpoint type configuration for RL load, average output voltage is V0 is equal to 1 by pi alpha to in limit from alpha to pi plus alpha, because it is conducting from alpha to pi plus alpha at a particular time. So Vm sin omega t d omega t. So here is the average output voltage expression. This is V0 is equal to 2 Vm by pi into cos alpha, and I0 is equal to V0 means average output voltage by R, that is equal to 2 Vm by pi R cos alpha. So these are all about the fully controlled rectifier midpoint type configuration with RL load. Okay, thank you.